My name is Andrea, and I will shortly tell you about MFG. Otherwise, you might not understand what the company or the institution I'm working for, why we do actually what we do. The MFG is a state-run institution of the state Baden-Württemberg. We are the southwest of Germany. And we are not part of the ministry, but we are kind of next to the ministry. And our focus is on the culture and creative industries. We want to foster these industries. We are already on the market since 1998, so we have a lot of experience in this area, and we are about 60 employees right now. So it's a pretty big institution for this kind of intermediary sector. We are there to promote the film culture and industry and also the creative industries. And what does it mean to promote? In our case, we do have some project funding, but our main focus is really to communicate the needs and also the strength of the culture and creative industries, to provide networking possibilities amongst the branches, because the creative industries, as you know, might know, is a very diverse branch. We have some special focuses, among others. This is games. We are also in particular interested in startups. We focus on open source, and we also focus on university corporations, and that's in fact the area I'm responsible for. And HOLA Design Thinking, the program I'm going to talk about, has applications from all of these universities. You see here the map is of the state Baden-Württemberg. Down there, the blue bit is the Lake Constance, and all these universities. From there we get the applications. So it's actually, we have a really good response in the universities and the Hochschulen. What is there more to tell you? HOLA Design Thinking. HOLA is as you might know, a Spanish word for hello, but here we mean the Hochschulübergreifendes Labor für kooperatives Arbeiten, which translates in English into Inter-University Laboratory for Cooperative Work. From an MFG point of view, we are interested in fostering the university corporations, and we do this by providing new innovation methods. And how do we do it? We invite students, lecturers, and also professors and professionals to learn about and experiment with new methods like design thinking or design sprints. And this is quite unique to such a program, they apply these methods to real problems. And we invite these real problems by cultural institutions, creative industries, and also other industries. You see here, these are the kind of the target group the MFG has, the creative and cultural institutions. We get their problems, and at the same time we let students and lecturers and professionals solve these problems or provide first solutions by applying design thinking. Is this complicated, or did you get this, what I explained? Okay. Just for you to know, so what is the background, the hard facts? The MFG is the program manager. We invented this program. We are supported by the Ministry of Science, Research and Arts. The program itself is running 8 weeks long between end of August and mid of October, because this is the phase when the students and lecturers are free for such a program. When you do something in November, they are busy with the studies. And we started in 2016, so this year it has been the 5th time we were running this program. Usually we have around 20-25 participants. We invite usually challenges, 3 to 4 challenges per year, and per team. This means 6 to 8 people are working together in one team. but the program itself takes place in September, October. Obviously, we as a manager, we start much earlier. In March, April, we invite challenge providers to apply with their problem. We are happy to solve. In May, between May and July, we invite applications from participants. They already know what kind of challenges there are. They can apply for a particular challenge. And then we have the program itself, end of August till mid of October. And in November, we usually have a final kind of event, which obviously this year has been different, as so many things have been different this year. Now, as I promised, I will go a bit more into detail what HOLA, how does it actually work? And to give you an idea of HOLA challenges, so these kind of projects the teams then work on. This is a set of examples. Because we are so focused on culture and creative industries, we invite those challenges. In particular, we had the art hall, the Staatliche Kunsthalle Baden-Baden, for example. They asked how they can go public with their digital exhibitions. Just to give you an idea how open the questions are. Design thinking, works on a kind of the question you pose has to be open in terms of the solution. Yeah, you shouldn't ask how can my app look like. That's too narrow-minded. You wouldn't work with design thinking on this question. So it's a kind of an open question, but these challenge providers, they work on issues, and they are really keen on getting new ideas, because they cannot do it in their daily routines with their own power. They ask these interdisciplinary teams to give them some input, some prototypes, some ideas. We also had the cinema, for example, the Innenstadt Kino Stuttgart. They were asking about new ways to experience cinema. We also have non-profit organizations there, and also the photo platform MFG. And this is actually what I want to look into to give you an idea how it then works. So the photo platform at MFG asked for a service, how their users can select the most valuable 1,000 photos of your life. That's the idea. Is we have a photo platform. I put all my photos there, and then I have a problem. That's too many photos, and there's a psychological approach saying you can put your life in a certain number of photos, whether they are 1,000 or 500. I think it's kind of this range, and you have to decide for which picture you want to put into this set of fixed set of photos. And the photo platform is now thinking about what kind of services can we provide so that the users freeing him or herself of all these crazy amounts of photos. And now I cannot. Yeah. So we have this challenge provider. Actually, it's a startup with the mission to collect and share images online. Yeah, the use case usually for imagery is wedding and travel. This year, obviously, this is a very bad use case. So they're really looking also for other ways of making services relevant to the people, because the people are still taking pictures, but it's not particularly this year on weddings or travel. And the challenge I've already covered a bit. They were asking how can they support their users in identifying motives from the abundance of their pictures that have a high and long-term emotional value for them. And this is how a typical HOLA team looks like. We have a bachelor student from health economics. We have scientific staff from didactics from the Hochschule der Medien in Stuttgart. a bachelor student in literature, art, and media studies, also a member of staff working in entrepreneurship and career services, a lecturer in advanced materials. So that's a more a physical uh, um, discipline. And we also have the CEO from MFG himself. And this was something quite special that we this year put also one of the challenge provider into the team. So we have these 6 people. I'm there because I was a coach in this team. And they went through the kind of a typical design thinking process. I guess what most of you know this the method, really starting from challenging the challenge itself, whether it's the question is relevant for the user, applying like more qualitative methods, doing interviews, doing participant observation, and they ended up, and I just took this as from the Miro board as a typical process to figure out that there's so many things we have learned about the user that we have to kind of do it on a customer journey. When is the photo taken at the event, up to at the end, what will happen with the photo. And they figured out that the service they want to provide is along this line you see in the middle. So the HOLA team, after 8 weeks, provided a solution, and they managed to come up with a prototype and tested the prototype with users, and that's a photo letter. It's not a photo book where you have bundle, I don't know, 200 photos, but it's a photo letter. It's a small collection of your most important moments. You choose them from your album, you put them in a letter, you tell your story, you write text, and then it's printed out in on a very nice high-level paper, and it's delivered to the other person you want to send this picture. So this is a kind of product they came up with. At the same time, it makes the user think about what kind of photos are very valuable for him or her. And the status right now is that it's this prototype is now implemented by the MFG photo platform. So with HOLA Design Thinking, the team, this team has not just learned an innovative method, but they were so engaged in this because they knew it's a real project. It's not something kind of made up by the organizer or so. So there was a lot of, it's a real driving force, obviously also because we had the CEO in the project team who was very dedicated to the task. Now, okay, so I told you a bit about what HOLA Design Thinking, how it works, and now I established 3 different areas I want to discuss with you a bit about. And the one thing is about what do you think are ingredients for successful interdisciplinary collaboration? And in my view, it's really one of the main assets is to build trustworthy relationships. That's the basis for everything. People won't be happy working creatively if they don't know each other, if they don't think that they are respected in the group. And in particular, when you talk about interdisciplinary teams, it's so easily said, but in practice, it means that people rarely speak the same language. So you really need to make them feel comfortable, make them feel heard. And we, for example, when we start with our summer school, we usually have a kickoff in the summer school, 4 days long. Then they have a project phase where they do the interviews, and then they come together again for 2 days coaching, and then they have a project phase again, and then they have a final two days coaching. And in the beginning, in the summer school, we start with team breakfast tables. So eating is always a good thing for people to relax and to feel comfortable, have a drink in their hand. And so this is to warming up. It's really nice, not just not the whole group, but to have team tables. That's something we've learned is helpful. Otherwise, you sit there with 25 people in the room, and that's already very overwhelming. So building trustworthy relationships is one key asset, I think. The other, I think I've already touched upon, is that it has to be clear that each single opinion makes a contribution. In particular, interdisciplinary teamwork is, yeah, as I said, people have to learn what does the other person mean, what is the way how they think. They in each discipline this is different. So what helps is to set up communication rules, obviously, but that's something I think everyone does in teamwork, but also to allow or to build a culture of reflection. And this is the uh, hot air balloon. This is a kind of reflection method, hot air balloon. We are all sitting in this air balloon. We want to have an updrift. What makes us updrifting? What is kind of ballast we need to get rid of? Yeah, and we always start in the morning with this kind of hot air balloon analogy. What is helping us and what we think is not good for our team and for the progress. And what is also helpful for interdisciplinary collaboration, in my point of view, is to give them the reassurance that they should and can trust the process. Although design thinking feels a bit awkward in the beginning because you, I don't know, do some detours and it's very iterative, but it's to show them that is it's worth trusting this process. You have coaches at hand. You have a project plan. It's all it's reassuring that they know that why they do things the way they do. So for me, these are the kind of ingredients for interdisciplinary collaboration. The challenges are usually very nicely different. Yeah, you have people they are interested in doing something which actually is put into practice. Yeah, go on the market. Then you have people who are I don't know, like to go to the cinema, so they want to do the cinema challenge. So we have a wide range of challenges for each of the participants. The motivation is as usually when they start, when they apply, the motivation is to learn design thinking more than a one-day workshop, but to really experience this. Also, lecturers, professors, they participate because they are fed up with just teaching, and they actually want to do the interview again. They want to really do it themselves. And after the session, after the program, we usually hear, "Can I apply next year again?" So you wonder, well, you've learned it now, but they found it so very inspirational to also meet these other people who have the same interest, namely to just open up. And it's so interesting to hear what other people in other universities and other disciplines, how they work, learn, and what they, I don't know, travel. And it's a really it's a special um, life experience taking part in this program. At least that's what they say. The other, obviously, this year with the Corona pandemic, everything has been so different, and I thought we should focus on this area, namely how to make coaching and also teamwork online possible. In particular, if you work with people, they don't know each other, and how can you break the ice? And this might be a form of working together that is going to continue even next year when we have the Impfstoff vaccination. If we have the vaccination, it's I think the working environment and the working culture will change. So I will share a bit of our experience in this area, and that has been actually quite tremendous for us, because coaching and guiding working with the teams has been secondary. In the beginning of the year, I thought I have a different job because I found myself thinking about the digital pub quiz and packing parcels, sending off mail to other people. It has been really quite quite a change, but at the same time, it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed working in with these with this very challenging situation. So how to make coaching and teamwork online possible? We've made the experience that it's very, very important that you allow for an onboarding, that you don't try and say, well, we have the method we want to teach you. You should get to know each other, and we have the technical setup. All of these at the same time, they don't, we feel that wouldn't work. So we really allowed for enough time for a technical onboarding. We had one Zoom call where we just focus on technical issues, made sure that we have how-tos so they can always read how the tools work. We have made very good experience with Miro. I'm not sure, do you all know Miro? There's some nodding. Um, it's a digital infinite whiteboard which you can use in particular for creative work. This is an amazing, powerful tool, and actually, we at MFG now incorporated this tool in our working process. So we had Miro on the one hand, we had Zoom, obviously, one form of video conferencing system, and we also had Basecamp. That's a project management tool, and we've made the participants familiar with these tools beforehand so that they have really clear focus when we started the program. Now this is actually time for methods and for meeting the others. What is also very important is to plan social events, and these social events are even more important when you run an online program. So, for example, right in the beginning, we did a speed dating. It's so easily done with Zoom and the breakout rooms. We had one evening, they got a package with nice food and drink, as we had already established now food and drink is important. So they all got a bottle of wine and beer and some, I don't know, peanuts. And so, and we did a speed dating. Actually, although it wasn't very much for us to organize, this has been named afterwards as, mentioned afterwards as the evening with a lot of fun. They really enjoyed um, being into a breakout room every 10 minutes with another person. Here are also two more photos of social events we've planned and we've organized. And that was when my family, when my children asked, "What kind of job do you have again?" When I, for the digital pub quiz, I asked them questions about mathematics. What do you do in maths? Perhaps I can incorporate um, one question there for the digital pub quiz. That was also a great evening we had there. We also did an online wine tasting. So social events are definitely a core asset when you have an online only program. Another important point is to provide what I call physical anchors. In the beginning, when we started, they got a HOLA Design Thinking starter box, and people love to get packages. I mean, really, when you open the mail and the post box, and it's not just the insurance or whatever, but it's a real package, and you open it, and it's like Christmas. So we sent a lot of packages this year. And this was branded, obviously. You see this here being coming on a Kreativreise, on a creative trip together, and it really helped to bond to the project, even though you usually sit on your desk and work, I don't know, other for your university or so. To actually have the HOLA water bottle, it reminds you that you are part of a project, although you cannot perhaps see it every day. And here, on the right-hand side, you see the photo of a potato soup box they got one lunchtime. you like it. It's yeah, it is, you know, where do you mingle? As we said already, usually it's afterwards you grab a bottle of beer, or at lunchtime you stand there and you enjoy the food with the others. You cannot do it this when you're on your own at home, but to know that all the others are now also peeling the potato, and you take a picture and you share this, is really makes, yeah, creates a spirit. And this is the spirit you need for an 8-week long project. They all do voluntarily. And finally, it's this creating wow experience. I mean, the physical anchor was already a wow experience when they got the first box. They were really flattened. We also, yeah, we were also a bit creative in this program this year. We did, for example, a Pimp Your Pasta challenge. They all got the simple spaghetti, and then at lunchtime we all cook the spaghetti and each choose the favorite sauce and, yeah, pimp their pasta. And then we shared the pictures on Basecamp, and they were really creative. Like down the graphic here down there, somebody actually drew the recipe, and it was really fun to see and share the pasta. And also, I want to show you one nice gimmick. We invited, perhaps you can see it here. These were all the participants in our HOLA project this year. You see perhaps one participant who's not has not registered properly. It's the alpaca. Um, we invited an alpaca to take part in our Zoom call for 10 minutes. That was a kind of a fun thing, but it's yeah, it's an alpaca farmer who had to change his business model because of the pandemic, and yeah, that was his thought was, well, when the people cannot come to our alpacas, we bring the alpaca into the Zoom call. Okay, so this is, I see here Samuel is enjoying this. So I want to discuss with you now your opinion on whether Corona has been a creative downer this year for you, or for your program, or perhaps are there things that might work even better online than offline? It's a third area I want to mention. This is when I talked to Fiona, when she briefed me about the session, and she said, well, talk about how to make sure that the results the team is actually providing or has worked out, how to make sure that the results are going on, you know, that the challenge providers are actually working with these kind of results. And um, we have experimented with this over the last 2 years. And one thing is that we asked the challenge provider to send one of his or her employees as a team member. So that makes actually, this is great for the team because they're very short ways. They know, they have an experienced challenge provider in the team. They That's easier for the team to work, and at the same time for the challenge provider, the company or the institution, they learn the method, and they also have a good, much better idea of how the result is actually, you know, what's the way, the process of getting the result. So the commitment, obviously, of the challenge provider to take this program seriously is by asking for sponsoring. That's what we also do. Some of them, the cultural institutions, they pay less, and the companies, they pay more. And as a third point, that's really great, is I will not miss this, is to at the end um, um, provide an handover workshop. So we spend half a day at the challenge provider, with the challenge provider and the team. The team presents his or her results, and the challenge provider works, not just listening and ask questions, but they think about the next steps, how to incorporate the results, and that has turned out to be very, very important to make sure that it's not just the program you organize, but what happens with the results. And this is something which I want to share with you here in this final area